TimeEnds Radio. All right, so we have a filmmaker here. Yasmin, how are you? How you doing?
Really good. How are you?
I'm good. It's kind of weird when I start the podcast like that, even though we've been talking for a few minutes.
No, I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
So let me ask you, you're into filmmaking. What got you into filmmaking?
Okay, so I originally wanted to be a theater actress. So I was studying, theater and stagecraft and acting, and I was in a couple of musicals. I did Grease. I did Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Wow.
The last musical, yeah, have you heard of that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was very colorful. But the last one I did was In the Heights. And
In the Heights?
That's a Latino, yeah. And it was just really fun. But of course, my parents were like, that's not a career. So pick something you can make money with. And I was like, sure, filmmaking is creative. One hopes to make money with it. So
that is true.
So that's how
true.
I got into filmmaking. Yeah.
So if it wasn't for them saying that, you would have pursued a theater career?
Yeah, and what's interesting is with COVID, a lot of the film productions had a halt.
Yeah.
So now I find myself back in acting.
Like theater acting, or are you doing film acting?
Yeah, so I'm doing I'm taking an improv class.
Uh-huh.
I'm taking another acting class, and then I was recently in a film that was in a competition at the San Diego Latino Film Festival.
Is that the one called Soon Enough?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I saw the article. If you guys are curious, you can go down the link below, and you'll see that there's a link for the San Diego Tribune. It's a film called Soon Enough. I watched it. It was really cool. It's accurate.
Yeah, I wanted to tell a story that could really resonate with a lot of people, especially during the hard times, and immigration as a Latino woman has always been a very, very polemic topic of discussion. Growing up and as a filmmaker here in San Diego.
How long are you a local in San Diego, or?
Yes, so I was not born here, but I've lived here most of my life.
Okay, where were you originally born?
I was born in Monterey, California.
Oh, nice. So why San Diego?
My parents moved here when I was like 5, and it's a beautiful town. There's just so many things. Everything's so close. If you want mountains, like literally you can go up, 30-40 minutes. If you want snow, you want the beach, you want to cross over to Mexico, you got a little bit of everything, and that makes it a really great filmmaking town.
I agree. When I came here to San Diego, I experienced all that. I was 5 minutes away from Tijuana. I went to the beach. Originally LA, it's like an hour to get everywhere, or 2 hours because of traffic. But like San Diego, there's so many opportunities. I'll say just to experience things, and I agree with filmmaking. It's really it's like a newish town for filmmaking, I think would be fair to say. I'm comparing it to LA, but there's a lot of filmmaking opportunity out here, especially because you can cross the border. That's the cool part. You can cross and film in Tijuana. So mostly in Tijuana, but that's awesome. So Now, what in filmmaking, like, what's your like specialty? Is it directing, writing, cinematography?
Okay, so as a filmmaker here in San Diego, a lot of us are kind of seasoned into wearing multiple hats. Only because we do a lot of low budget, we do a lot of short films. But for me, um, where my expertise lies is I'm usually first AD, assistant director.
Mm-hmm.
So I handle a lot of the scheduling and the paperwork and making sure that everybody shows up on set and is safe. So I'm kind of like the ringmaster, I guess you would say, behind the director. I get everybody together, and then the director calls the shots. And I love putting everything together. I love pre-production. So as a producer, it's really fun to find the talent, to find the locations, to schedule the crew and the talent, and also making sure that we have all the pieces to really produce a great film. So I always joke about this with my crew and my team and like my directors that I work with. I always tell them I'm such a nerd for spreadsheets. Like I love spreadsheets. Put me
Yes.
put me with a good spreadsheet, and like I'm such a nerd for spreadsheets.
Dude, I have to
So
agree. Not only is it easy to read. I don't know if that's accurate, but like I agree. Like spreadsheets just make sense. They're so organized, and the information you want is so easy to find. And
and it's efficient. Like it's like organization and efficiency. Like that's my thing. So a lot of people that end up coming to one of my sets, like they know we're if I say we're done at this, it's either we're done at 7 or like 7:15. There's only like a 15-minute window of error. But I love spreadsheets. They make everything really easy. And
yeah,
I love not wasting people's time.
I agree. I agree. That's awesome. Like, yeah, yeah. You're like the only other person, or you're the only person I've met that likes spreadsheets. Because I like spreadsheets. I do everything on spreadsheets, and my crew they're like another spreadsheet. um, but yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. So do you mostly work on short films? Have you done features or?
So I've worked on a feature and I was actually assistant to producer, which that's more hands-on when it comes to on-set scheduling.
Mhm.
I did a feature in San Francisco, and it's called Enter the Fire.
Nice.
And that one is with Lou Ferrigno. It's on Amazon Prime. I forgot to mention that to Diana. So that's the feature I've worked on. I was assistant to the producer. I did all of the talent wrangling on set. I scheduled all the extras. I did all the crafty. I scheduled everybody for lunch. That was a really big production. Like there was maybe about 150 people on set,
Wow.
and so that was really fun. And it's funny, I always tell this story. um that was like maybe in the beginning of like when I started like really seriously doing filmmaking.
Hmm.
I didn't know, and this is gonna sound funny, I didn't know, or I had never seen Lou Ferrigno,
Hmm.
so I didn't know like what he looked like. And because I was in charge of lunch and scheduling, he eats like, I kid you not, like 8 hard-boiled eggs like a day. And I was the one that had to supply him with hard-boiled eggs.
You're like, who's eating all
And
these eggs?
yeah, it was like, this is ridiculous. I don't think he could eat it, but he would. And nobody was allowed to like be around him. He had his assistant, but we started talking, and all of a sudden it was like I was designated as like the assistant to Lou Ferrigno. And I'm guessing because I didn't know who he was, so I wasn't like starstruck or anything. I was just like, yeah, it's the guy that eats hard-boiled eggs, cool.
Do you know who that is? I don't know. He eats eggs.
He eats hard-boiled eggs. And then when he left the set, everybody was like running outside to like go see him off, and I was like, "What's the big deal? Like, okay, like he's a great actor, is great, feeding him hard-boiled eggs, but like, cool." And then everyone's like, "You don't know who that is?" And I was like, "Should I know?" And they're like, "That's the Hulk. Do you not know the Hulk?" And I was like, "Oh, damn."
Well, okay. To be fair, he doesn't look like he did as the Hulk. Like he looks a lot bigger. If that makes sense. Like
He's tall,
yes,
super tall, and like really buff. Like he played a mob boss in Enter the Fire.
that
So
makes sense.
yeah,
That totally makes sense.
I just I didn't know who he was. Sorry.
That's always the best when you're on set or you're in a like a gathering for networking and you just meet someone and do you know who that was? Yeah, I just met them. No, dude, do you know who that is? Like, oh.
Yeah, right? Oh my goodness.
So I'm gonna ask you some questions about your experience in filmmaking. Let's start there. What is the most difficult situation you've ever had in filmmaking, whether it be scheduling or anything? Anything you'd like to share with us?
Filmmaking brings its challenges for sure. Let's see, the most difficult I've had on a film set. Oh, okay. Hmm. I would say, um, and this is certainly something that I've shared as a female filmmaker. It's really tough to go in there and be the AD or be the producer and really put your foot down and have people respect your decisions, your choices. Um, I feel like certain male filmmakers are threatened by women filmmakers, and it's really hard. I was on a set where I was co-producing, so it was me and a male producer, and we were filming a very very high like high artsy, I guess, scene. I can't talk a lot about it, but it's
Mm-hmm.
there was some nudity involved,
Mm-hmm.
and so everybody had to really, take everything seriously. And there were some decisions that I made, both for the safety of the crew, for the production company, and for the model who was doing, nudist work. And there was just some moral, ethical um, things happening that
Mm.
kind of broke the rules,
Yeah.
and I had to really put my foot down, and I really really needed to be heard, and I really needed to take control of the production.
Mm-hmm.
And literally there was three females on crew. Everybody else was male. And so it was really hard because it was like 3 against like 14.
Yeah.
And I think that by far has been one of the biggest challenges when it comes to upholding safety, when it comes to upholding policies, when it comes to like tricky situations where you know that rules are made to keep everybody in check.
Right. Yeah.
And it was just really hard as a female. And it was, I was told by the male producer to like, "Oh no, it's okay, just go sit out, just take a breather, go take a walk." And it's like, no, like, we need to handle this situation. You can't just tell me to go take a walk. Like, I'm a producer, this is what's happening. Like, this needs to be controlled like ASAP, or else I'm shutting the production down. And like, I never go to that extreme, but for that set I was literally on the brink of like, we're shutting this down. Like, you either listen to me or like we're not doing this.
Wow,
It was tough.
I'm glad you know I've heard stories. I mean, it sucks and you know it pisses me off that I mean we're in 2021 and this shit's still happening. You know, I mean come on people, like you know what I mean, and and I'm happy to hear that. You know, like it's you got to do it, and you know what, like people. I know a lot of the dinosaurs in the industry still they're very set in their ways, but they're learning the hard way. And you know, male or female, it doesn't matter. Like a job's a job, a title's a title. Like you know, I joke around
Yeah.
because my producer, you know, Deanna, I joke around like. She's gonna yell at me and stuff, but you know, and her and I are friends outside of you know the podcast, and you know, I always hire her for my when I do short films and films stuff. She's always my producer. She does such an amazing job, and um, that's one thing I tell everybody. It's like she's the boss. If she says jump, ask how high, how far, how many times. You know, and that's just it. And that level of respect needs to be uh, definitely there in every production, male or female. It doesn't matter, and it sucks. And I'm happy to hear that you put your foot down and yeah, that's go sit down, take a break. What? Come on.
Yeah, I was like, this is not. Come on, this can't be happening. Like I was literally, and it was crazy because that producer and I like we're kind of like he was my mentor and like teacher like outside, and so I was literally like more disappointed. Like how can you say that to me? Like
Yeah.
it was just so disappointing. And
Wow.
everybody was trying to make it into like a female male thing, and I'm like, no, if that talent, if that nudist model would have been male, I would have said the same thing. I would have upheld the same rules, the same policies go.
Yeah.
Like same thing. Same.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
If
that's
it
what
was
they're there
like
for.
females, yeah, if it was reversed, I still would have said the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. The title is the title. The policy is the policy, and that's it. I'm really happy you shared this because you know this is stuff. I mean, like the podcast I talked to so many like filmmakers, actors, actresses, and you know, all walks of entertainment and stuff like this. I like hearing because it needs to be heard. You know,
Mhm.
especially with like what's going on in the media. You know, so yeah, I'm happy you shared that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So okay, let's move on to a lighter subject. What was the best moment or the easiest part of filmmaking for you?
Oh my god. I think it's so funny. I think the easiest part is when we get down to production and everything just I always tell you everything just moves like butter. Like I love pre-production. If you can hash everything out in pre-production, production's a breeze. I love showing up to production like week or like days of production and just like getting it in the can as they say.
Yeah.
Just easy breezy going. It's just easy. It flows like butter.
All
So for
right.
me, that's always been like the easiest part.
Okay. Now, when you're on set, have you come across any last minute changes that actually was the best? Or is there a story you'd like to share? I should ask. You know, that was the best decision or last minute change that was done for the film.
Let's see. I would have to say, mm, mm, mm. Yeah, usually on productions, there's just so many changes that I can't really. But we were recently talking about that for the project I'm currently working on. But I think in the past, um, it would have to be that the ya pronto, the soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
We were actually on location and we were supposed to shoot it backwards. We're supposed to shoot the beginning scene in the daytime
Mm-hmm.
and the ending scene in the nighttime. And we were
Mm-hmm.
when we were there, we just loved the location and like the background. that we decided, like, you know what, we're gonna highlight that in the daytime at the end so that people kind of like see the, see the location, and it's not, we're not just sitting in the dark,
Yeah.
So, and then now as I watch it, I'm like, that was a really good decision because you you I'm pretty sure you mentioned that. I think you saw it, right?
Yeah.
You leave with a sense of like, oh, okay, like change, and like, but it's kind of uplifting at the end. So that's one change that happened like last minute, and I think it worked really well. It worked really well for the film and really gave it that push at the end.
There's
So
hold on, let me you might okay, the volume's off. There's a question I have actually about the film. Let me find the part. Um okay, yeah. So first off, where's the location where she's at? Because I know she said, you can't cross the border, but specifically where is this location?
so the location is actually up in it's a friend of ours' house, but in the movie the location, or supposed to be, she's supposed to be at a rich person's like house, and she's like the maid and like the
Mhm.
housekeeper. So it's supposed to be like a rich person's house in La Jolla, or
Mhm. Okay.
like
That
in the film.
got it.
But
That
if
was
you're
my
talking about like the
question.
actual location,
That also.
okay, that actually credit goes to Marty Fowler. That's his home, and
Oh, okay.
he's up in I might be wrong. Rancho Santa Fe.
Oh,
I want to
okay.
say I might be wrong. I might be wrong, but that's Marty Fowler's house. He's a
Yeah,
friend of ours.
because like I mean when there's a scene where she's walking and you can see the whole structure in the daytime, right? And it I wanted to say it would remind me of this place in was it Baja? I'm not sure. I did a film in Tijuana, and when I went a route, it the houses look like this. So I was curious if it was here or in Tijuana. So that's really I should just ask
Oh, okay. Yeah,
that.
no. Its current location is here in San Diego, up north, correct.
Okay, cool. Wow. And so who wrote this film? I actually don't know. It says the director is Jordan Jacobo.
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 Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
butchering
Jordan
names.
Jacobo, he's a brilliant director and writer here in San Diego. And if you don't know him, I can also definitely talk a little bit about him. He's been in the film industry here in San Diego for I think like maybe like 8+ years,
Oh.
and he's really talented. He's very much a big part of the San Diego film community here. He had and I don't know if you caught this, but he had a show on KPBS called Jordan Loves,
No.
and
No.
where he explored a lot of like different really nice places here in San Diego. Like he did an episode on the California burrito. He did
Wow.
an episode on like the hidden speakeasies here in San Diego.
Wow. I'm gonna
So
check
he
that
just
out.
highlighted a lot of the arts and culture here.
Wow. Cool. That's awesome. And who wrote the film? Soon enough. Was it
Yeah, so he wrote it.
he
Yeah.
wrote it? Okay. Okay. Wow.
He's the writer and the director.
okay. Cool. Yeah. It just says director. That's why I didn't say writer. And I was like, who wrote it?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. So he wrote it and he directed it.
Okay. Cool. I mean, I could just look at the credits. uh,
That's okay. I could
terrible.
also just tell you, I love
Terrible.
I love talking about my filmmaking friends. So
uh, oh, that's awesome. I'm like, as soon as I asked you, it popped a written and directed. I was like, idiot.
it's okay.
So, do you do anything other than filmmaking? Is there another passion you have, or another, I guess, like a side career or anything that you do?
Actually, yeah. So for a while before getting seriously into filmmaking, I was teaching.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I I've taught preschool for about like maybe I've taught preschool for about maybe 5+ years.
Nice. In San Diego?
Mhm. Yeah,
Cool.
in San Diego.
What got you into
And
teaching?
I started it. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, no. What got you into teaching?
Well, I got into teaching to pay for the bachelor's in film. So so that was I was like I'm gonna teach preschool, make some money while I study filmmaking. And I love teaching. Like it's really fun. I love planning for 3 years to 5 year olds, the best age. They already
Nice.
know how to go to the bathroom by themselves, and you can tell them what to do. Anything past 5, they start getting rebellious.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now I need you to draw this. No. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you still teach? Are you still teaching or?
I'm hoping to get back into it once, the COVID and everything reopens. The school that I was working at actually got closed down um halfway through like the summer, like 2020. So
You mean like closed down
that's
completely?
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man, that sucks.
It was really sad. I know. I miss
Wow.
those kids. Um
Wow,
it's
that's
all like I
terrible.
said, I love teaching. It's nice.
Wow. Wow, that's hard to hear. I'm wow. It kind of puts things in perspective. I wonder how many other schools may have closed that. Like no one knows about, other than who it affects directly. Wow,
Yeah.
that's
It
terrible.
was
That
it was
sucks.
tough. It was tough because from that age, preschool, you can't really keep them apart from each other. Like
That's true.
it was ridiculous when they were like, "Oh yeah, we're coming back, but we'll like COVID, safety guidelines in place. Like keep them away from each other." How are you supposed to keep a 4-year-old away, 6 feet away from another 4-year-old? Like they love touching each other, putting their hands in their mouths, putting their hands in other people's mouths, like
Yeah,
like
it's
that. That was that was not gonna happen.
yeah. I thought about that. My daughter is going back to school and next week actually, and she's older obviously, and I thought, man, I wonder how it's gonna be like for preschool, kindergarten. No, don't put like don't eat the glue. Well, don't eat your mask. Don't eat the hand sanitizer.
It was hilarious. So the school reopened for a little bit. So I was probably working there for like a month, and the kids, like in the beginning, they came with their masks, and they're all like super excited because it's a novelty, right?
Yeah.
I kid you not, within the hour all the masks were on the floor. Like they forgot them. They were like already in each other's faces, and we're like, no, like you need to, like, everybody go to their corner and like play.
Timmy put
It was just
Timmy put a bleach cloth in my pants.
yeah, oh my god. Like, and then we had to bleach the tables. Like literally they had to play with something, and then we had to take it away, bleach it, like sanitize it, and they couldn't play with it until like later because we're like, you're not gonna play with it like 3 times, and we have to constantly wash it. Like this is just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
So
got to
it
be
was
hard. That's got to be hard.
it was a challenge. Yeah. And then we
Uh,
could only have 6 kids. Like we could only have 6 kids, so we had to like divide. Like we could only have 6 kids play with each other in a pod, so we had to divide the classroom with like bed sheets. Literally, like we put up bed sheets to cut the room in half. And of course the kids were more excited about like what was behind the bed sheets than so it was like, no, don't touch the bed sheet. Don't pull it up. And of course, they were having a ball.
it's like building a fort. They're like, "Oh, we're building a fort in the classroom. I'm in."
Yeah. 100%.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Wow. Well, kudos to you. Kudos to you. That's definitely a hard job. People take for granted teachers. It's not an easy job because your teacher, your counselor, your police, you're everything.
Mhm.
It's hard. Wow. Anything else? Do you have any hobbies you do or?
Yeah, so I love cooking. I love cooking. I love baking. And during COVID, I got really into baking because we had all the time. So I was able to do a little bit of that I love, and I love making cheesecake. Like, cheesecake is my favorite to make,
Wow.
and I'll put them on Instagram. Like, I'll take pictures of like all the baking stuff, and I love desserts. So I have like a food Instagram that I
Nice.
just bake and put food out, and so I love baking.
So for all you
The
foodies out there, it'll be down in
what?
the description. For all the foodies out there, it'll be down in the description below. Because they're gonna be like, "Did you
Oh
say cake?
yeah.
I want to see it."
Are you a big foodie?
Yeah, about 300 pounds of it. Yeah. I my grandma taught me. My grandma taught me very 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 well. She educated me when it came to food. She said, "Try everything twice, because if you didn't like it the first time, you might like it the second time, because maybe the first time they didn't make it right." That was probably the best lesson I've ever learned. Yeah, and I would try. I literally there's probably honestly at this point in my life, there's nothing I say no to. Like, if it's disgusting, it probably tastes good. All right, let me try it. Like I'm like that. I've had some interesting. Let's just say I had some interesting food.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
I've
I
always been really big on food. Like, I love food, and that's interesting you say try it twice. I think I might change my mantra to that. I always tell a lot of people, and being a preschool teacher, trying to get them to eat new foods in the lunch, I always tell everybody you gotta try everything once, then you know if you like it or you don't like it. But I think I like that one better. It's like try it twice because you never know if they didn't
Yep.
make it right the first time.
Yeah,
It's
or
a
for
good one.
example, the I guess the best way to trick a kid is to say, well, try it twice, because if you brushed your teeth earlier, it might taste funny because of the toothpaste. Oh, you didn't brush your teeth. Well, that
Oh.
explains why it tastes weird.
There you go. You get them on that double.
Get them on the double. Yeah. But
Nice.
it is true. It is true. Like I've had because of that, I've had many times I'll try something and I was like, oh, this is weird or this is gross, and then I'll go back and my friend's like, you're gonna try it again. I'm like, yeah, I'll try everything twice. You didn't like it the first time. Like, maybe they didn't do it right. Maybe I was in a bad mood. Maybe I wasn't hungry. Whatever. And honestly, I don't think I've come across anything that I'm like, I don't want to do this again. To get it out of my plate, get it off. Like, I don't think I've come across that yet. So yeah, it's true. Like, you should try everything twice. Because the first time might have been too salty, or the cook was so pissed that it was more. It was really enchilado. Very spicy. The cook was mad.
Enchilado, enchilado.
Enchilado. There we go.
Yeah. What I was gonna say about the cheesecake was, people don't know this, but I don't like cheesecake. I don't.
All
I
right, this
don't like
interview is over. I'm just kidding.
but I make a hell of a good cheesecake.
What kind of cheesecake?
So I just made a raspberry swirl cheesecake,
Mm-hmm.
and I put some pictures up. I did a chocolate mousse cheesecake,
Mm.
and I'm working on a dulce de leche cheesecake. So that one's next.
Oh, oh, oh,
Yes.
God, that sounds so good.
Oh yeah, I'm looking into that's my next cheesecake. So dulce
Nice.
de leche.
That's gonna be amazing. And you don't like cheesecake? How come you don't like cheesecake?
I just don't. I don't like eating it. I like making it. I like making it. I don't like eating it. I love chocolate, so I think I'm more of a chocolate fan. So the chocolate mousse I did have like maybe like half a slice. But I don't like I love cheese, so I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the issue. I don't like eating it. I just like baking it. I think that's the craft, the passion for me.
That makes sense. Oh, well, it makes sense to me. I know a couple people that. Well, recently I met someone that she's actually the owner of a sandwich shop in North Park called Classic Rock Sandwich Shop. Unfortunately, their last day is Saturday, and
No.
yeah, I know. And she, it's interesting. She has a lot of sandwiches, like 101, and she told me she's like, I can make all because they're all amazing, and she's like, I can make all this, and I'll do a taste testing, but I don't eat majority of this because I'm a picky eater. I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, a lot of the sandwiches that people are like, oh my god, this is amazing. She's like, I don't like it. I don't eat that. It's so
Nah.
I totally get it. It's interesting. Like you love making it, you love the craft, but you're just like, it's not my. I'd rather have pizza or something.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
That's
And
interesting.
that's the thing. I love putting the all like the passion and just artfully crafting a cheesecake and making it look beautiful. And I will along the process you know, test the taste to make sure it tastes like what a cheesecake should taste like. But yeah, I don't eat it. I don't.
So if it tastes like really for it's kind of weird. If it tastes the more disgusting it tastes to you, the better it is because you're doing a good job because you know how you don't like it. Is that kind of the case here?
No, I guess like I mean it's not disgusting. It's just a cheesecake like a New York style cheesecake. It's supposed to be like creamy and like, you know, this and like I can taste like the cream cheese and like the so as soon as like I know I got the good like the style of cheesecake flavor profile there,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm like, okay, it's good to go into the oven. But it's not like, oh, I'm making it as disgusting as I can because I know they'll like it.
Yeah,
No,
because you're the opposite. You're like, okay, I'm starting to not like this, so that means it's good. Can you try this? Oh, it's good. Okay, cool. I'm doing a good
yeah, yeah, for sure.
job. Yeah, I love cheesecake. Unfortunately, and
Ooh,
my favorite is New York cheesecake, and I'm very how do I say? I've learned how to decide which is a good New York cheesecake.
oh,
I was born in New York, and so I was spoiled. I had cheesecake for the
okay.
first time in my life in New York, like New York cheesecake, and they were like, "This is real cheesecake, not that California crap." And I tried. I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." Um, yeah, I love New York
I
cheesecake.
guess I'll have to try my cheesecake out.
I'm gonna
I'm
have to try.
interested in
I'm gonna
yeah.
judge you. I'll tell you. No filter.
I I'd love it. I'd love it.
So what are your plans? I mean, I know this is probably like one of the you know most spoken topic, and I always avoid it in the podcast, but you can't. So, what are your plans post COVID with films?
So right yeah, so right now I'm working on a short film called Postcard from the Future.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a buddy of mine. His name is Alan Vasquez, and he's going to be the director and is the uh, owner of Lighttail Pictures, and that's his production company.
Oh,
So
cool.
we're putting together his film that he wrote, and I'm very, very excited about. I'm actually doing production design
Mm-hmm.
for his film. So I'm super excited because besides producing and being AD on set, and like I said, I love spreadsheets and organizing like sets. Um, yeah, I will say that I'm in love with spreadsheets. But besides that, I am so excited to have the opportunity to be production designer.
Nice.
And I love props. I love, you know, just anything like that's artsy that I can use to tell a story. So I'm very excited that he has given me the opportunity to design his film, and that's what I'm looking forward to. That we should be filming that, like, I think at the end of May. So
Nice.
that's coming up. Yeah.
Wow. Cool. So then
Yeah.
you're still working. I mean, you're pretty much, the pandemic's not going to stop you. You're going to like keep working, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, the only reason is we're waiting for, everything to reopen up, because if we're going to get a lot of film crew together, it's a little bit hard to coordinate when we're in small spaces. Like, we can't stay away from each other when you're filming something, and it's
Mm.
like a very intense scene in like a bedroom, or like
Yeah.
so we're trying to like see if we can wait it out. And it's a really interesting story. I don't know if you'd like to hear about it, or
Absolutely. Let's hear it.
so it's about Paul, and he's a talented and passionate musician, and he has one last day to finish his EP in hopes of securing a record label, and has a month-long creative block to overcome.
Ooh.
So a lot of the times, like some of the themes in this movie, and with COVID, we've had a lot of time. Um, it's really about, facing our past, and the residue of past traumas that live within us.
Hmm.
And it's a subject matter that's really really close to me, because there's a lot of growth that has happened because I've had the time with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a lot of like facing, yourself, and like we were quarantined and we couldn't go anywhere. So it was more about like, how as an artist do you look inside yourself and really tell the story that you want to tell. So that's why this project is really important, and I think that we it really highlights a lot of the stuff that I and this director Alan Vasquez have really worked on during COVID. So we're just really excited to whenever post COVID is, uh, to really explore that and tell those stories. So I think for me, that's where post COVID is leading. Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, I can relate. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a musician. But
Ah, yeah.
it's I think that's gonna hit. It's gonna hit home for a lot of people, because whether or not if they're musicians, it's the idea, the whole block and facing yourself, and it's something like a lot of people had to do by force, for the past
Mhm.
year, and I think that's gonna be a good. Just based off what I'm hearing, it's gonna be great. That struck a chord with me, because you were telling me this. I'm like, oh shit, she's talking about me for a second. It's
Yeah.
yeah. I was wow. Yeah, I think that's a good story. It's a good story. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. Let me know, and I'll tell everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know, but it looks like you play the drums and
I
play a couple of
pretend.
it.
No, I pretend to play drums. I'm actually a guitarist. That's what I do. Yeah.
Oh well, we all dabble.
Yeah. Yeah. But
I know
yeah.
like one thing on the bass and like one thing on the drums. so
Do you, it's,
but go ahead. Okay.
no, no. That was my other question. If you played any instruments, or if you do any drawings or anything like that.
Yeah, so I come from a very musical family.
Mm.
My dad's a choir director, and he
Wow.
plays any instrument that he can get his hands on. Like he will go at it. And so
Wow.
he brought us up with like a deep love and integration of music, and like he would rehearse us to sing in the living room, and and like, oh, now you're gonna play guitar, now you're gonna play this, and like
Wow.
now you're gonna play violin. So like growing up, I had many instruments in my hands, and I am sorry to say I was not very successful. So,
Well,
but
it's not for everybody.
yeah, but like I said, I dabble. I took a piano class in college. I love singing though. Singing is if anybody were to say like, "What's your instrument?" Probably my voice. Probably my voice. Yeah.
Nice. Have you done any like recordings? Have you done any voice acting perhaps?
Yeah. So I recently got into voiceover acting, like voiceover, because we couldn't film anything.
Hmm.
So I did some voiceover for another film that's in post production, called La Paz,
Hmm.
and that's by another filmmaker here in San Diego. He's a brilliant cinematographer and director. Loved how he directed actors, and I did some voiceover for him, and it sounded really well.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I thought I was gonna like I because it was like my first. It was like literally my first like legit voiceover. So I was like, oh man, this is gonna be crap. But this is actually really good. Really good. Really
So
good.
what? So it's called La Paz.
It's called La Paz by Aiden Keltner. I should have sent you the. I didn't think. There's just so many projects. I didn't mention it.
It's
I didn't mention it
it's
because
hard. Yeah, no, it's hard
yeah.
because you send, like you're gonna do an interview and you send a couple things, and then as the interview goes, you're like, oh, I should send. But I'm happy you're saying all this
Yeah.
because everybody can look at it and see the work that you're doing and that you've done. um,
Yeah, for
what was his
sure.
name again?
His name is Aiden Keltner. Mhm.
Cool. I don't have a pen and paper. Normally, I write stuff down, which is it's hilarious because
No, I
I'm usually like this, and everyone's like, "Are you texting during an interview?" I'm like, "No, I'm writing." So I'm typing everything on the computer. Um,
yeah, him and he's just brilliant. The brilliant, and it was like the first acting I did like since COVID. So it's like it's voiceover acting and acting. I was terrified, but it went well. So
nice.
so it's good. So it's
That's
good.
awesome. So here's the other question: Are you independent or do you work for a company?
So I am independent,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, I collaborate with a lot of local filmmakers here, and they might have like their production company, but I'm mostly just independent, local producer, freelancer. So
Nice.
that's how I get most of the paid gigs. Yeah.
Cool. Do you have a website?
I do not have it up and running right now. But I think I sent you that Instagram for Light Tail Pictures. I think I
Uh,
did send that one,
you may have sent it
and I think
to
that's
Deanna.
To
Yeah.
Diana.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no,
Okay,
it's
yeah, I
fine.
have.
Yeah. Sorry, there's a
No
crazy
problem.
delay. No, it's fine. If you sent it to her,
I
then I'll get it. So I was just curious if you had a, but I think she's gonna send it to me later today. So we're gonna put all that in the link. Yeah, or all the in the link. Wow, we're gonna put that all in the description below with all the links and stuff. So because it's a common question that my listeners asked. They like, hey, is there a link? I'm like, yeah. Look at the section below.
Yeah, I have like a website. So for the actually top films that are actually like international, we
Hmm.
have the movie has a website.
Hmm.
But for me, like I'm restructuring because I'm independent, and I used to work with a production company, but now I'm like strictly like independent. So now I'm restructuring my website to reflect that, which is why but I
Makes
can
sense.
give you the details to that, and then whenever they click on it,
You
it'll
heard?
be good.
Click down below. Check it out. That's cool. That's cool. Um, so musical background, interesting. So your whole family, they're all musicians. That's rad. Like literally everybody, like everyone in your house.
Yeah, like I'm sitting in my sound booth, and like my brother does all the recording, like sound, sound recording.
Mm.
And so we were like, we need a booth. So we built a booth. He does like the post, like sound, anything to do with digital recording, sound, synthesis, loops. That's him. That's my younger brother. And my other brother, he does a lot of like the, he can sing, he can play piano, so he does a lot of like just live, like piano, sings. He can also play a little guitar, but mostly piano, singing, and then we record video together. So me and him will do music videos. We'll do the live recordings whenever my dad has like a live concert.
Mm.
Like, I'll be doing the video, my brother will be on the mixer doing the sound recording, and my other brother will be doing the mic checks and the singing and like just prepping. So it's interesting. We all just come together, and like my mom sings. My
Wow.
other brother plays the drums
Wow.
and any percussion instrument that he can get his hands on.
Wow.
so
Wow.
so
You all should come down here. We should jam.
Oh my god, yes, let's jam. I'm loving the guitar with the sunburst. I
Oh,
love
this
I
one right
love
here.
cool guitars like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that belonged
Look
to
at me.
my old drummer. He passed away in 2007, and um,
Oh.
he ended up getting that as a gift. And I looked at him. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "What?" It's like, "Give me that. You're not a guitar player. Give me that." But he passed away. His parents are like, "Hey, we want to give you the guitar." So I still have it. It's
Oh.
that thing is, it's seen a lot of tours and a lot of albums and a lot of films. So thing has history.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your friend, but it's really
Uh,
nice to have that as a token, as a memento. It's beautiful.
yeah, yeah. I forget it's behind me, even though I'm the camera. I can see myself, but I forget that that's the guitar, which is funny because that's his guitar, and then this one's over here. This is my very first electric I've ever owned. So having both of us on the wall is kind of sentimental.
Oh,
Yeah, it reminds me why I do
sweet.
this, other than giving these two hell every day. Stop laughing. Yeah,
Oh.
awesome. Like it's incredible hearing your story. It's interesting how one decision made you venture into a different career. Did you ever think about just like, what if I just did theater? Like, what if I just go back and just do theater? Screw all the film stuff. Let me just do theater for a while. Do you ever think of that every once in a while?
This is a funny question because I don't know, I was telling you like, oh, I had to loop back around to theater and like acting because of COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny because I was like, okay, so now I'm doing voiceover, and then I'm doing acting like in film, and I'm like, okay, acting in stage. So I was like, you know what? I should just go back to stage. I should just go back to theater acting. So I signed up for a class at Mesa, and I was like, come on, there's no way that they're gonna do theater that's not in person. I'm thinking to myself, right? And unfortunately, all our acting rehearsals are on Zoom. And so now I'm
Oh.
like, great. Like, I wanted to get back to theater acting, but now the whole show is taking place virtually, and we're recording it like a film. So it's kind of like I try to get away from film and go back on stage, and I ended up doing a live film, but a theater show. so so
So,
it was like, wow.
so you guys aren't even together in a theater?
No. And it's sad.
I have to agree. That's terrible. I had someone on the podcast that was doing theater, and they said that they were trying to figure out how to rehearse together on a stage, and I think they figured it out. That's crazy that you're. How is that possible with the delay? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's really it's takes a lot of patience. It's it's really frustrating, and part of me was like, well, I wanted to get back to theater acting. Why am I sitting in front of Zoom now?
Yeah.
Like, why? Why? How is this possible? Like, and so now I'm just kind of like, no, I want real acting, like real in-person theater acting. And so I'm hoping that soon we can get back on stage. And I miss it. Every year during like Christmas, I don't know what your background is, but um, I'm like I mentioned before, I'm Mexican. I'm a Latino filmmaker. Every December we put together a Christmas play called La Pastorela.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to design it. And it's a Christmas play about like it you can have any theme for it, but it's about the Christmas and Jesus being born and
Mm.
so I we didn't do it in 2020 and it was so sad because I that's like my one time like I know I'm gonna be on stage. It's like my one like theater performance that I look forward to every year and like we didn't have that in 2020. So I haven't been in theater in like forever.
Wow. I thought maybe they would have figured out how to keep everyone safe and with the testing that we're doing and like something,
It's just frustrating. Yeah, everybody's just so like meticulous about the 6 feet rule. Like I get it, I understand, for sure I understand, but I'm like, okay, if all of us are 6 feet away, can we like rehearse together at least? Like maybe outside? Like, you know? And no, like we can't even set foot on Mesa College property to like rehearse. Like we just
That's
can't.
crazy. I was at what's the name of that park? Ludi. What's the name of that park that you sent me to? Liberty Station. Thank you. I was at Liberty Station and I was going to like this bridge area. I don't know if you've ever been there. There's this bridge that goes over the water, and there's this band setting up to rehearse outside. And I was like, oh, that's genius. Instead of coming to like a place like this to rehearse, they're rehearsing outside and they're tuning, they're all talking. I crossed the bridge and I kind of did a route, and when I came back, I can hear them playing, and I'm like, that is so cool. I don't know why we can't do something like that for at least rehearsing. People do yoga outside. They do drill, drill whatever they're called stuff outside. Why can't we act? Why can't we rehearse?
Exactly. Like why and there's so many like outdoor amphitheaters. There's so many outdoor amphitheaters. Like why can't we put on a show there?
Yeah, like at
Why
Balboa
can't we
Park.
So there's one so I know that Balboa Park has like the old Globe has that outside amphitheater.
Yeah.
And then I know over here by where I live by Euclid, there's like the College Grove amphitheater.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's one at Choya's Lake. There's an amphitheater there. It's like we have all these spaces, but like nobody's like, what's going on?
Why? Yeah, like just do it there. I mean, what are they afraid of? Some sun? Like.
I know. It's like, come on, get a grip, people. Like,
That would actually, I think that would make sense. And not only would it stimulate the economy at that point, but it also would help everybody that's kind of stagnant. I mean, and I'm talking about the people that go out still, but they're not doing theater, like movie theaters. They're not doing stuff like that because everything's closed or kind of closed in some areas. But like having that, an outside play, even if people aren't into theater, I think they would enjoy it because it's an event. You know what I mean? And it's pretty safe. You're outside. I mean, like this whole thing about being in an area and you have to be 6 feet apart and wear a mask. It's like I get it, but you got to remember we're all breathing the same air anyways. You know what I mean? So why can't we just do this outside as well, where there's even less of a chance of transmission, you know?
Yeah.
And they should do that. I mean, I've seen a lot of places they have outside dining, which is genius, and you know, yeah, we I don't know, maybe pull some strings, talk to people, a petition, something, get the plays back. I think it would help. It would help, you know, people's their mental stress, and it would help, you know, it would help pay for actors and catering too. That's another thing. Like businesses are going out of businesses, small businesses as well. They can cater that, and I don't know. Like, I think it'd be a smart thing to do.
Yeah, for sure. I was part of a creative roundtable earlier this year where all like the big, arts organizations got together and we were talking about how to, promote the arts and continue to, do arts theater and filmmaking and what that looks like in a post-COVID, city. But it was just everybody was just like, well, we don't know what to do, and it's the venues are here on one side, and like nobody's talking to each other. Like the venues are struggling, the small businesses are struggling, like the actors are over here with nothing to do. So it's like
Yeah,
we need to all come together and really support each other and bring each other up. And I think that if that doesn't happen, then like, of course, everybody's struggling, and it's hard on everybody. Like.
just imagine this. Imagine, let's say if you talk to a theater production company and just pitched it to them, say, hey, why don't we do something at one of the outdoor theaters, and we can set it up where, you know, people like groups of households, you know, because not everyone's going to be 6 feet away, obviously. Like, why am I going to be 6 feet away from my girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, you know? So stuff like that, you can put them together in groups and then separate the 6 feet, one, and they're outside, and and hire like local businesses to, you know, sell there, to be a vendor, and you can even, you know, live stream it or have people that don't want to come out but they want to watch pay like $1 or something. So it's kind of like a win for everybody. And I would, if that happened, I'd go. Like, you know, I told Nathaniel, like, dude, I'm down. I think everybody should do theater at least once a month, or watch a play or something once a month, because back in the day we didn't have films, we didn't have TV. What did you do? You went to the theater, and I don't mean a movie theater, an actual theater. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's a cool experience that people should do, and I don't know, like doing that, I think it would help. If that gets done in San Diego, first of all, I think it would trigger something where LA will start doing it, and then San Francisco, and I think it'll help. It'll help a lot of people, you know.
Yeah, and it's a great idea. The only issue, and like I said, I've been to so many like, let's get together, let's support each other, and then it's like literally it dies down, and I'm just kind of like, guys, I thought we said we were gonna support each other and build this thing, and then there was like, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, 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 let's do it, and then there's no follow through, and
I hate that.
it's just it's frustrating. It's
Yeah.
just tough. Like you have no idea. So many times I've walked into a meeting. I've walked into even in Liberty Station. Like they had an arts we had an arts like district like meeting about how to connect different sectors of the art community here in San Diego. And it's like I was representing obviously the filmmaking at that point, but it was like everybody was just there to stroke their own egos
Hmm.
and nothing got done. And the only time I spoke up and I was like, we need to make sure that we're uplifting, the students, the young minds, the young creative talent. We need to make sure that we're bringing them up and like kind of funneling into like, professional, like making connections with theaters, professional,
Hmm.
creatives, so that they can see that there's like a pathway, so that we can also create, more jobs and like more work for everybody in the arts community.
Yeah.
And they literally, and this is exactly what they said to me. They were like, "Oh, well, that sounds like a lot of work. Like, maybe you should take that on. Like, have fun. Like, good luck. Do it. And I was like, it's not just gonna take me. It's gonna take
Mm,
like everybody. Like, I can't alone do that job or make that happen. It has to be like everybody.
mm.
And they literally were like, "Oh no, you can do it. Yeah, like let us know. Have fun." And I was like, "Wow, okay."
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, especially for how do I say this? How do I say this lightly? Individuals that like to make money, um, it seems counterproductive to not do that. I'll give you an example. Like I do YouTube stuff, and I listen to a lot of like audio narrations where they tell horror stories and stuff. Um, and they normally like upload once a week or twice a week, whatever. When the pandemic hit, there was a new episode every day. They made a killing because they took advantage of that and they got it. And I feel like, based off what you said, is like these individuals, they don't get that picture. It's like, dude, this could be a cash cow if you think about it, if you look at it in that way. But then the other spectrum is that you're not only making money, but you're also helping people by earning money, and then you're also helping people by spending money. It's like this circle, and it's not hard. It's really not hard. I mean, you get permits, you get a group of people, they all have their job, and then you get it done, you get a date, boom, that's it. You promote, and that's it. What's so hard about that, Like, it's not hard. I tell people, dude, it's not
Not
hard.
hard.
It's not. It's not hard. Like, just
Yeah.
just get like 10 crazy schmucks that'll go with you, and then you do this, you do that, I'll do this, you do that, and then we pick a date, and that's it. And
Mhm.
I don't know. That's sad hearing that. Being in the business and hearing that is like, really, what happened? Like, I thought you guys were driven by stuff like this.
Exactly.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? What the hell? Oh, you just want to stay home? Okay, I get it. Well, then stay home while we, y- you know.
Mhm.
Honestly, I think you should take their advice. You should do it on your own, but you should also obviously get a team that'll back you and help you, and then they're gonna be like, holy shit, she did it, and we're sitting here watching it on YouTube or Zoom or whatever. That could have been us. I could have been having a piece of that cheesecake. Like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's crazy hearing that. What happened? What happened? Wow, but I don't know. I think that's an opportunity. Maybe there's people crazy enough to do it, um, that believe in that, and that you know the heck. Um, so yeah, I think you should take their advice. I think you should do it. And you know what? You are going to set an example for all of those new filmmakers, all of those students. They're going to look at you and be like, and hear that story and say like, wow, she did it. And it's empowering too, because you're a Latino filmmaker. You know what I'm saying? So that there's a lot of messages you'd be sending. I don't know, man. If they told me that, I'd be like, okay, I'll see you in 6 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was mostly like discouraged. I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll see what I can do with that. But I was like, you guys are all just like frustrating. That's whack. like,
I agree. I agree. It's like, why are you in this
this is
business?
ridiculous. Like,
Why are you in this business? You
I
evolve with
literally,
what's happening.
yeah. I was like, why are you calling this meeting if you're not going to do anything about it?
Right.
What is the point? What's the-
What's the point of the meeting? Yeah, exactly. Like, why am I here? Yeah. Oh, Alexa, shut up. Thought I was talking to her. But yeah, no, I think that would be something really inspiring, because then it would take students that are struggling. Think about that, like all the filmmakers that are going to school right now that are doing the Zoom classes, and then all of a sudden this opportunity comes up. They might want to volunteer. I'll do it just because of the cause. I'll do it just because of that. And all these other individuals that held this meeting that said, hey, um, it sounds like a good idea, you should do it. Kind of show them like I did it. You can sit and watch. I don't know. That sucks. It pisses me off. All right, I'm done. My rant.
Well, I'll keep you in the loop. I'll keep you in the loop if it happens.
Absolutely. Let me know. I got people that would definitely would be interested to help. And however they can. They would. Yeah, I'll help. I'm sure. I'm vouching for Deanna. Boss, if you're listening to this, which I'm sure you will be, you're going to be volunteering or getting hired to do this. So I volunteer you.
It's great.
I'm volunteering you too. Yeah. You did nothing. You say yes. I'm not gonna bring you in this. You done?
Oh.
Oh man, that's yeah. Keep me in the loop. Let me know. However I can help. All you guys listening, watching, whatever. If you're interested, click on the link, hit her up, or you can email me, or you can bug producer Deanna. I love sending people to her just to harass her. It's funny. Awesome. So, is there other than that project you're doing? Is there any other projects you're? I don't know if you're. I know like some projects you're not allowed to talk about, but like, is there anything else you're also working on that you want to share?
Yeah, so besides Postcard from the Future, and the Mesa College the Mesa College virtual film that we're gonna be putting on a show. I'm working on another short film, that's directed by Jonathan Hammond, and I don't know if you've heard of him.
It sounds familiar.
Actually has, yeah, you're familiar?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's had a couple of, films on KPBS,
Mm-hmm.
and he's won some awards. He also won the WOMAS, I think it was, the Woman Making a Scene. So I'm collaborating with him. I'm producing his short film We All Die Alone. So that'll be also beginning of June. So I'm working on that. That one's really fun. That's gonna be North County. Um, I'm looking forward to sharing it with the public. As a filmmaker, I'm always trying to put out art that people can identify with, that resonates with them. Stories of people who, don't really have a voice. So I'm always really passionate about sharing stories of people who, you don't really get to hear from, or you don't really get to see reflected on screen. So that one's gonna be really interesting as well.
I'm happy to hear that. I'll send you some stuff after the interview, some links and stuff. But I'm really happy to hear that.
Oh yeah.
That's really cool. I like stories that are the stories that I like the most are the ones that you see every day but you don't pay attention to. You know what I mean? Like, for example, just a generic example, like a homeless individual. They're not even begging for money. They're just sleeping on the sidewalk. And then you hear their story and you're like, oh, you used to be a famous somebody. And here you are now. You know? I like stories like that.
Yeah. I believe Alan Vasquez, who's directing Postcard from the Future, has a story about that, and he made a short film called Andy. So that one's really good, and also follows, the story of a homeless man and his story. So that one's really cool to check out. I could send you that link
Yeah, that'd be
as
awesome. I'll,
well.
I'll check it out and I'll share. If
Yeah.
I can share it, I'll share it as well. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I've also been really into. So I used to work at the Maritime Museum here in San Diego, and I got to work with a lot of veterans and a lot of active active duty service, military
Mm.
folks, and there's just so many stories, and I loved hearing their stories, and everybody has a story, and we don't see it every day because we're busy with our lives, or we're just going to work, or we're in our own little bubble, and there's a lot to pull from. It's a lot of stuff that affects military transit, like just one example, military transition to civilian life,
Mm-hmm.
like that that's a big one, especially here. I mean, in San Diego, we are a military town,
Yeah,
and it's definitely integrated in who we are, you know. So there's a lot of those stories that I also want to tell. So I think coming late fall, there's going to be a lot of that. A
that's
friend of
good.
mine is actually putting together a show, and he's a retired Marine veteran.
Mm-hmm.
He makes models of either like World War II ships, or like even as far back as like 1700s. And he makes them
Wow.
all by hand. Yeah, so he
Wow.
handcrafts, okay, like these wooden models. And recently he got into like metal, like copper and metal working. But like he has
Mm-hmm.
a whole collection of like just all these like model ships. And his show, he actually, we're putting together a show at the Bonita Historical Society Museum, and he's gonna put his whole collection around an exhibit.
Wow.
And so that's really exciting. That's gonna be in June, July. And his name is Joseph Franjosa, and he's got a nautical art history gallery in La Jolla.
Wow.
So he's been doing this since he was in the Marines, and like he's a retired, so he did like 20 years, or I don't know. I might be wrong, so don't quote me. I feel terrible as a friend that I don't remember, but but yeah, he did Navy and then he did Marines, and he handcrafts. Just think about this: handcrafts all these wooden ship models from just looking at pictures. Like he
Wow.
builds them from scratch, just looking at the picture. So that's badass. And
That is
um,
rad. Wow. And you
I'm
said
very
June, July?
excited. What?
You said June, July is when the exhibit's gonna happen?
Yeah, I believe June. Let me see. It should be like June something. June 25th, something like that, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, so it's gonna be all of like June and all of July until August. So I think it's like a 3 month exhibition. So they're
Wow.
giving him the space for about like a couple months to really show, like, and it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be really cool to see all those ships, and like you get to really step into that experience. So
Yeah, let me
definitely, I'll
know.
I'll send you some links to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please let me know. I'll tell my editor. My editor's in, very, not very involved, but involved with the art community. He does art himself. He, graphic designing, and I think he would love to check that out. So, yeah. Please send me that, and I'll let him know. I mean, he can hear me right now, but, but
Oh, for
yeah,
sure. Definitely, I'll send you that link, and then I'll also update you when the opening show is.
yes, absolutely. I'm down. I'm down. That'd be awesome to check it out, and maybe I'll go with him, and he's leaving.
Oh,
No, you
did
got a
he
phone
not
call.
like?
No, you got
I
a
was
phone
like,
call. I like giving them a hard time, especially this one.
oh.
And she can't even hear me. She's editing. But anyways, I appreciate you doing this. It's really cool hearing the stuff you're doing, and I love how you advocate for just people on set, because one thing that I've learned in a very short amount of time that I've been involved with films is that um, sometimes people get taken advantage of, not in a like terrible way, but in different ways. Whether it be just being not taken seriously or to the extreme. And I really appreciate hearing that you really believe in structure, and you believe in following what's right, what's morally correct. I like hearing that. That's really awesome, and I commend you for that. That's really cool.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, it's been a journey, but I
I hear you
am
there.
really proud to say that yeah, that's what I believe in, and that's my passion. So it's really good.
That's awesome. Keep it up, and I'd love to have you back on the show. When you finish one of the projects, or even an update on what's going on with the amphitheater.
Oh
So
yes, for sure, for sure. I definitely I love chatting with you. I love being here. Yeah, I definitely love to come back and update you on all the cool stuff.
awesome. I really appreciate you doing this. And for everybody listening or watching, the links will be below. If you want to reach out and ask her any questions, feel free to. In closing, one thing I do want to ask you: is there any advice you would like to give any aspiring filmmakers or individuals that are thinking about, going to school for filmmaking?
Yes, for sure. And this might not make any sense, but it's the most simple thing ever. You just have to go out there and like shoot. Just go out there and like video your garden, video your cat, video, just go out there and film something. Because the more experience you have, and the more and you're gonna run into like trouble, chaos. You forgot a battery, this, or and I think that's when you learn the most, because most of the time filmmaking is troubleshooting, is solving that problem. How do I solve the problem? Oh, there's too much wind. Oh, there's not enough lighting. Like right now, I'm a little ashamed about this, but like we're in a sound booth and the lighting isn't that great. So, so as a filmmaker, I'm always like, the lighting is terrible in here. But,
I think
but
they'll
so
forgive
it's
you.
that.
I think they'll forgive you for
Oh,
that.
thank
So.
you. That makes me feel better.
So you guys heard it,
But
it's troubleshooting, and it is fact. It's fact, in all aspects of in entertainment, in creativity. You just got to figure it out and just not give up. You know.
yeah, don't give up. Just go out there and do it. And if if it's terrible, then you learn. You troubleshoot for the next time.
Exactly. Exactly. Awesome. Well, again, thank you for doing this. I would love to hear an update soon. I'll have the producer reach out.
Oh, for sure. Thank you so much for having me. Oh, it's been such a fun time, and it's a pleasure talking to you.
Awesome. Same here. Same here. And for you guys, we'll see you next week.